So hello guys. So today's our topic is gonna be negative exponents and scientific notation. Okay. So today's our topic is negative exponent. Excuse me. Sorry. And scientific notation. So we first of all we're gonna talking about some information, some really important information property about the negative exponent and something else. Also we're gonna talking about the definition of the scientific notation. All right. So basically, let's get started. Let's firstly we're gonna get started with some really important property of the negative exponent. Okay. So if you don't understand what is a negative exponent, so negative it's gonna be negative, right? It's gonna be minus, and then exponent is the power. Okay, exponent, usually the meaning of the exponent is the power, right? So as we going further, I think you guys will understand it. As I explain more about it. Okay, so first let's take a look about the property. So here we have something is given, right? We have something given, any non-zero number, right? So the meaning of non-zero means it's not equal to zero. Okay, so we have given for any non-zero number, so as long as the number a is not equal to the number a is not equal to zero, then it's okay. We can actually using the property below. Okay, so our first one is a to the power 0 equal to 1. Okay, a to the power 0 is equal to 1. So let me give you guys one example over here. So the example over here, maybe 1 to the power 0 is equal to 1. Okay, and then what we have maybe is 10 to the power 0 is equal to 1. So that's the property says, right? A to the power 0 is equal to 1. So the power, whenever the power is 0, so you know the answer is gonna be 1. Okay, maybe one more, maybe 115 to the power 0 is equal to 1. Okay, that's basically the first property. Okay, so you need to know the property. Okay, so for the second property, what we have over here is this a to the power. Okay, let me write a little bit more clear, I guess. So what we have is a to the power negative n is equal to 1 over a to the power n. Okay, so that is the property says. So let me repeat one more time. A to the power negative n is equal to 1 over a to the power n. Okay, so the negative, that's the paper. So okay, so let me show you guys some example. Okay, so maybe we have something like a to the power negative 2, right? So we know we apply the property, it just become 1 over a to the power 2, right? So a to the power negative 2 is equal to 1 over a to the power 2, right? And then maybe one more, maybe a to the power, so maybe instead of so a to the power negative 5, right? So it just simply equal to 1 over a to the power 5. Okay, so I think this is quite easy to understand, right? Okay, so you need to know how to apply those properties. Okay, so that's most of the thing for the negative exponent. Okay, that's most of the really important property for the negative exponent. So let's now moving to scientific notation. Okay, scientific notation. So basically what I'm talking about is like, I just want to say something like, what is the definition of the scientific notation? The scientific notation is quite important. Okay, so what we're going to talking about right now is the definition of the definition. Oh, wait a second. The definition of the scientific notation. So over here, so definition says any number written in the form, in this kind of form, a multiply 10 to the power n, in which, so those are the conditions. A have to be bigger and equal to 1, and a also have to be less than equal to 10, right? And then n is an integer. Okay, so that's basically the definition of the scientific notation. So any number written in the form of this, okay, any number written in the form a multiply 10 to the power n, and in which a have to bigger and equal to 1 and less than equal to 10 in that zone, okay, and then n have to be an integer. So that's basically the requirement to be a scientific notation. That's how you define it, right? So that's most of the really important things, and I think it's quite understandable, right? So we're talking about the negative exponent and then the definition of the scientific notation, right? Okay. So those are really important. You have to make sure you understand it. Okay. So right now I think it's our time to doing some question and then get some better understanding, by doing some question, right? So I think how many questions we have? We have totally 11 questions. Okay, we have totally 11 questions. So right now is the time to actually, if you know the question, then if you only interested in the question you don't know, then you may I will suggest you to just skip it. Okay, I will suggest you to actually skip it. Otherwise, we were doing those 11 questions in really details, because I want to make sure everyone does understand it. Okay, because maybe some people just don't understand. You understand, right? So okay, because maybe some people don't understand. Okay, so let's go. Let's move into question 1 right here. So let me zoom in a little bit. Make sure you guys can see as clear as it is. So you can see the first question. What we have over here is 11x to the power 0, right? So you write down 11, and as we all know, x to the power 0 is equal to 1, right? So the answer over here is 11, right? So remember the property we've been talking before. The property says a to the power 0 is equal to 1, right? A to the power 0 is, so no matter what is the variable along the power to 0, it's always going to be 1, right? So therefore here is 11 multiplied by 1 equal to 11. Okay, so this is the solution for question 1. Okay, alright, sorry. Okay, so let's move into question 2. Alright guys, let's move into question 2. Question 2, right? You see the question 2 is bracket 2a to the power 3, b to the power 7, right? And then bracket to the power 0. Okay, so you see there's something outside the bracket, and the things outside the bracket is, the power outside the bracket is actually 0. So right away you should know the answer should be 1, right? You guys understand it? So to make you understand, then remember, the first thing I want to say is that what we remember, a to the power 0, right? Let me write a little bit bigger, I guess. I was always writing things a little bit smaller. A to the power 0 is equal to 1, right? And then over here you see this term as a. Okay, that's one of the trick. Okay, that's the trick. That's one of the trick to make you understand really easily. Okay, so remember the property we just talked about before is a to the power 0 is equal to 1. So we have a 0 over here, right? We have a 0 over here, and we got a term inside. And when you see this term, we just see this term as a itself, okay? Because it doesn't really matter that what is the term, because we have the power as 2, we have the exponent as 2, as 0, sorry, we have the exponent as 0 outside, so you should right away you know the answer is going to be 1, okay? Think this right, I think this is that it should be really easy to understand it, okay? So let's move into question 3. All right, let's move into question 3. So maybe when you look at question 3, you feel like oh, it's quite difficult, right? It's because there's too many things going on inside, right? So there's too many things, right? So when you look at it, you see there's a -3, there's a negative, and there's -3 outside, right? Those are all exponents. So let me show you the way how to easily actually solving this question, okay? So remember before, we always have to simplify the thing inside first, right? We always have to simplify the thing inside. So what we're gonna do over here is like we're gonna simplify the things inside first, okay? So we got a bracket -a to the power 5 multiply. So remember before we have b to the -3, right? So it just becomes 1 over b to the power 3, right? And then we have bracket -3, right? So here one of the property you need to know is that you have a to the power -n is equal to 1 over a to the power n, right? So that's the property that's the only property we apply over here. So the property we'll apply over here, we have b to the power -3, right? So as the properties say it, b to the power -3 just become 1 over b to the power 3, right? Right. So basically that's everything we do over here, right? Because we want to simplify a little bit, right? Okay. That's so on the next step. We have to simplify a little bit more, right? So we have to, so basically negative, and then we have negative a to the power 5 at the top, and then b to the power 3 at the bottom, and then we have a negative power outside the bracket, right? So this quite, so we just over here all we do is we just combine negative a to the power 5 and then 1 over b to the power 3 together. So they just become negative a to the power 5 over b to the power 3 bracket to the power -3, right? So that's all we do over here, right? So the next step, maybe you feel like it's quite difficult. So the next step, as you see, we have a -3 outside. So if you know it, because we have a -3, right? So we definitely have 1 at the top, and then we have this at the bottom, right? Let me simplify. Let me write it a little bit more clear, I guess. This kind of like really a little bit narrow. B to the power 3, and then to the power 3, right? Okay. So on this step, we actually have to apply the whole things again, right? So we have to do it over here. We have to using this property one more time, right? We have to using this property one more time. So you see, so we see this whole thing as a term, okay? As a term, right? So okay, so basically, okay, let me write it a little bit more clear, right? So so we have to drag a little bit. Not this, not that. Okay, let me just erase it, I guess, to make you wholly understand it. So we see this as a term, okay? Let me write a bit more clear. as I just said before, we see this as a turn. Okay, let me write a little bit more clear. So we have to, as you see, I already write down the property at the right. So you see, we see this, the thing in the bracket, which is negative a to the power 5 over b to the power 3 as a term, right? It does a term like a, right? As a term a, right? As a term a, right? And so we have a negative exponent, right? Because we have negative n. So a to the power negative n. So here is negative 3, right? So you have to do something like that. Well, you have to the answer is going to be 1 over negative. It's still negative inside, so negative a to the power 5 and then b to the power 3, right? B to the power 3. Let me write that one right and more clear. A to the power 3 to b to the power 3 to the power 3, right? So that's how you simplify a little bit more. So you want to simplify a little bit more, right? So I think everyone does understand it, right? So basically you see on the previous step you see negative a to the power 5 over b to the power 3 as a term a, right? So therefore we are able to apply the property on the right. So now it just becomes this, okay? So after that we have to simplify a little more, right? So everyone know how to actually simplify the bottom part, right? So since the power over here is actually 3, so it's an odd number, right? It's an odd number. So I'm just going to show you the details. Okay, I think I have to show you the details. So we still gonna have 5. We still gonna have negative, right? We still have negative, and then what we have at the top is a to the power 5 and then bracket to the power 3, right? And then at the bottom what we have is b to the power 3 and then to the power bracket to the power 3, right? So that's the detail part. Okay, so 1 over we have 1 over negative. Negative is still negative because that's the power 3. That's an odd number, right? That's an odd number, so negative is still going to be negative. And then what we have is a to the power 5 to the power 3 and b to the power 3 to the power 3, right? So now we actually able to simplify a little bit more, right? So we have 1 over negative. So remember, a to the power 5 to the power 3 is actually a to the power 15, right? And then what we have at the denominator, what we have is b 3 multiplied by 3 is going to be 9, right? 3 multiplied by 3 is going to be 9, right? So now we can actually simplify a little bit more. Okay, let me show you guys actually how to simplify it. Okay, so now you can see we got 1 over negative a to the power 15 over b to the power 9, right? So we want to get rid of the 1, right? We want to make it as simple as possible. So I would say, right here, okay, right here, if you know how to do it, then okay, I'm just going to show you the most so basically over here, okay, maybe I have to show you the steps, the detailed step one more time. Okay, maybe the detailed step one more time. So over here, the simplest way what you can do is you just flip it. Okay, so you basically flip it. Okay, that's the most easiest way actually you find our answer. So basically what we have done over here is that, so if you know the answer, then it's pretty clear, but if you are not clear, then I may just explain in words, okay? Because over here we have 1 over something, right? We have 1 over something. So whenever you have 1 over something, it's gonna be 1 divide something, and that's basically a flip, right? So you just basically flip it. Okay, so basically what you have to do it over here, you just basically flip it to get rid of 1. Okay, that's the main thing I want to talk about. So if you don't know it, if you don't know how to actually perform this kind of calculation, then I'm telling you right now, whenever you have 1 and over a fraction, you see there's a fraction as the denominator over here, right? So if you want to actually get rid of 1, you just basically flip it. Okay, you basically flip it. So now you know it. Okay, you basically flip it. So you have 1 over negative a to the power 15 over b to the power 9, right? So you basically flip it. And then it does become a negative b to the power 9 over a to the power 15. Okay, so this is thing you need. This is the trick. Okay, so I mean, this is not a trick. This is kind of like, some everyone should know it. Okay, right. So I think we actually done with question 3. Yeah, we actually done with question 3. So let's move on to question 4. So question 4 is also kind of really similar, right? So it's kind of like really similar. So I think okay, so question 4 is also kind of similar. So I think right now I'm just going to show you the fast way about how to actually doing those questions. Excuse me. Maybe there's a noise. Sorry. Okay, so for question 4, you see it's kind of like a little bit complicated, right? So at the top we got at the numerator we got x negative 1. Right, and then we got all of those kind of things. So let me simplify a little bit first. Okay, so we're gonna, so we have to simplify a little, right? And then we may cancel. Actually can cancel some terms, right? So we got x to the power negative 1. So you should know it's gonna be 1 over x, right? And then we got something in the bracket, right? So we got something actually in the bracket. So if you actually fast enough, so you can actually, cause you can see in the bracket what we have. So on the numerator, okay, in the bracket what we have is x to the power 2, y to the power negative 2, and then to the power bracket to the power negative 3, right? So over here, so basically over here is that we multiply x and then x to the power 2 multiply negative 3, so it becomes negative 6. Okay, so it becomes negative 6, and then we multiply y. So y over here is y to the power negative 2, and then we multiply negative 3. So negative 2 multiplied negative 3 is actually 6, positive 6, right? So we write it down y to the power 6, right? And then we got z over here. What we got z over here is that we got z to the z to the power negative 2, right? And that's everything we can simplify for now, right? That's everything we can simplify right now. So actually, I would say it will be actually much more better to keep x negative 1. Okay, to just keep x negative 1 to actually have some better solving. I will show you guys why it will be better to keep it in that kind of way. Okay, so on the bottom on the denominator we can actually simplify a little bit more, right? So we got the x is still x, and then we got y to the power negative 3, right? We got y to the power negative 3, right? And then we got z to the power 0. Remember, anything to the power 0 is going to be 1, right? So it just multiply by 1, right? That's multiplied by 1, right? So z to the power 0, right? So it's right here is z to the so it's z to the power 0. So anyway, z to the power 0 is equal to 1. Okay, so right, z to the power equal to 1. Okay, so let me simplify a little bit. Okay, let me maybe just simplify a little bit more. Okay. So right now we can actually cancel. Okay, so let me simplify a little bit first. I guess I have to simplify. So we starting from the numerator. What we have over here is those two terms, right? We have those two terms. We have x to the power negative 1 multiply x to the power negative 6, right? So what we have, since it is multiplied, so it just becomes addition. So it's negative 1 minus 6, right? So it's negative 7, right? And then we cannot simplify anything with y. So it does y to the power 6 and then z to the power negative 2, right? And then at the bottom, as the denominator, we have simply x and then y to the negative 3 and then multiply by 1. So it's actually we can just leave out 1, okay? Because here we have multiply by 1, so we don't actually have to write 1 over here. You don't actually have to write 1, okay? So now we have actually cancel a little bit more, right? As we all know, I'm talking about how to doing those kind of stuff really on really early chapter, right? So I think for now you guys should already master it, right? So over here we got negative 7. So let's focus on x first, okay? So let's basically focus on x first. So we got negative 7 at the top. We got negative x to the power negative 7 over x. So it's gonna be x negative 7 minus 1, right? And same as y. So y over here is 6 minus negative 3, right? And then z just it is, because we don't have anything. We don't have any z at the denominator as the numerator, right? Okay, so I think, okay, so because we don't have anything at the denominator, right? So remember, the thing at the top is the numerator, okay, and the thing at the bottom is the denominator, okay? So basically you can see there's nothing z on the denominator, so we know z we actually we just leave z as it is, right? So now we think, we just need to cancel a little bit more. We are actually on our last step, right? So you can see over here x to the power negative 7 minus negative 1. So it's x to the power negative 8, right? And then we got y is actually 6 minus negative 3. So x6 plus 3 is equal to 9, right? And then z is just negative 2, right? Okay, makes sense, right? Everything makes sense, right? Okay. So that's basically the answer for. So this is the answer for question 4. Okay, y to the x to the power negative 8, y to the power 9, z to the power 12, z to the power negative 2. Okay, sorry. Okay, so basically we're just moving to question 5. Question 5 is also kind of really similar, right? So it's also kind of really similar, right? So we have to cancel a little, right? So we have to cancel the thing in the bracket first, right? So you basically write it down 4x squared y negative 1, y to the power negative 1, right? And after that we have to simplify a little bit, right? We have to simplify a little bit. So now what you can see over here is that you see, so you basically see this again. You have to think this as a term, right? A term. And then we got a negative 2 as a negative exponent outside, right? So right away you should know it's gonna be 1 over 2x negative 2 y to the power 3 to the square, right? So you should know that, you basically, right? So you see this 2x negative 2 y to the power 3 as a term, right? So it just basically becomes this, right? Okay, so after that we have to simplify a little more, right? So what you do, let me write it on the right. So what you basically do over here is you moving 4x 4x squared, 4x squared, y to the negative 1 to the top. Okay, and then you basically need to doing a little simplification on the denominator, right? On the denominator, we have bracket 2x negative 2 y to the power 3 to the power 2, right? So over here, basically, okay, let me show you the detail. So basically over here it's gonna be 2 to the power 2, and then x negative 2 multiplied by 2, and then y 3 multiplied by 2. Okay, so that's the detail part. If you know the detail, you can actually skip it. You can actually just write on the value. Okay, so after that, what we have over here, we still got 4x squared, y negative 1, and then 2 and basically on the denominator, right? So we have to simplify a little more. So we got 2 to the power 2 is 4, right? We got 4, and then x is just gonna be negative 2 multiplied by 2 is negative 4, right? And then we got y. So y over here is actually 3 multiplied by 2. It's gonna be 6, right? So 4x negative 4 y 6, y to the power 6, right? So now you can see 4 and 4 get cancelled, right? And then, okay, let me write down the detail. So over here, so you actually can cancel those terms, right? So you actually cancel those terms. So you actually, basically over here is x 2 minus negative 4, and then y is just gonna be negative 1 minus 6, right? So negative 1 minus 6. So basically we on our last step on this question. So x 2 minus negative 4, 2 plus 4 is going to be 6, right? And then y negative 1 minus 6 is going to be negative 7, right? So basically it just the answer for this question 5 is this. The answer for this is just this answer. The answer for question 5 is x to the power 6 y to the power negative 7. Okay, y to the power negative 7. Okay, that's the solution for question 5. Okay, so now let's move into question 6. So question 6 is also a little more steps, right? So as you can see, we got a bigger bracket outside, and then we got a small bracket inside, right? So we have to do the small bracket inside first, right? So we have to finish the thing in the inside first. So basically over here is just simply equal to bracket, and then x to the power square, and then y, and then we got a negative 1. We got a negative 1 as the negative exponent, right? So you basically, as I say before, let me, no. So as I say before, you need to see this as a term, right? You just see this as a term, so it just basically become 1 over x to the power 4 y to the negative 3, right? To the power negative 2, the bigger bracket, right? So the bigger bracket, the outside the bigger bracket have the power negative 2, right? So now we just have to simplify a little bit, right? So we have to simplify a little bit. That's always the truth, right? So you always have to simplify before you're doing anything else, okay? Because simplify makes things easy, to do it, okay? So over here, what you can see, basically, you have to simplify the thing inside first, right? So let me show you the details, okay? So you put x to the power 2 y on the top, and then the bottom is just simply x to the power 4 y to the power negative 3, right? And then you got everything to the power negative 2, right? So basically right now you have to simplify a little bit more. So what you can, I think up on this point, you guys should be able to do it without doing any other without showing the steps. Okay, so you see there's a x, you see there's a x to the power 2 is x to the power 2 over x to the power 4, right? So you know right away it's x to the power 2 minus 4, right? 2 minus 4, so it's going to be x to the power negative 2, right? And then for y is y to the power 1 over y to the power negative 3, so you know it's 1 y to the power y to the power 1 minus negative 3. So 1 minus negative 3 is 1 plus 3 equal to 4, right? So it's y to the power 4 to the power negative 2, right? So if you are really confident, if you actually knowing those really well, you can actually you don't have to write down the details, the really detailed steps. You just moving further. That will be much more quicker. Okay, you can actually do that, right? So after on this point, as I said, on this point right now, right? So basically over here, right? So basically over here again, you're seeing this as a term, right? You're just seeing this as a term, and then it just basically become 1 over x to the power negative 2 y to the power 4 square, right? So it just basically you have to multiply it. You have to multiply it. So basically it does become let me write it down under, because I have to write it down under. So it does basically become it does basically become 1 over x to the negative 2 multiplied by 2, and then y 4 multiplied by 2. Okay, so now you have the answer. It's 1 over x to the negative 2 multiplied by 2 is negative 4, right? Negative 4, and y 4 multiplied by 2, 4 multiplied by 2, it just become 8, right? 4 multiplied by 2, it just become 8, right? Become 8, right? So this is so if you want to so basically we have doing many steps on this question already. So if you actually the last step isn't the final solution for this. Okay, so the last step is actually it's not the final solution. If you so basically okay let me just continue it. So okay, so I think I have to write it down further. Okay, so basically let me show you all the steps. So 1 over x to the negative 4, and then y to the power 8, right? So it just basically become y to the power 8 x to the power 4, right? So basically you can see over here is that x to the negative 4 is actually x to the power negative 4 is actually equal to 1 over x to the power 4, right? So you put x to the power 4 is actually the denominator. So and then you just seeing so and then it just become 1 over x to the power 1 over x to the power 4 multiply y to the power 8, right? So it just basically become y to the power 8 over x to the power 4, right? So now so now you should know how to do it, right? So you just flip it, right? So you just flip it. So what we have over here is 1 over y to the power 8 over x to the power 4, right? So in this situation, so we basically want to get rid of 1, so we just basically flip it. We just reverse it, right? So it just basically becomes x to the power 4 over y to the power 8, y to the power 8, x3. Okay. So now you actually, finish this question. Okay. So answer is right here. Maybe write down over here. Maybe write it down over here. Because I think maybe this gonna causing some confusion. X to the power 4, y to the power 8. Okay, so those are all the steps. Okay, so the answer for this for question 6 is actually x to the power 4, okay, x to the power 4, x to the power 4 over y to the power 8. Okay, so actually there's something I want to talk about in this question. Okay, so there's actually something really important I want to talk about in this question, because in some of the part it's actually really easy to making a mistake. Okay, so let me change my pen to blue, and then I want to point out the point which is really easy to making mistakes. The thing which is really easy to making mistake is actually the step over here. Okay, the thing is really easy to make mistake is the step over here. Okay, maybe some people say it's actually equal to, so maybe some people say why you don't just multiply the thing in, right? So why we don't, just simply x negative 2 and then multiply negative 2, and then we have y 4 multiplied by negative 2. Why we can't do that, right? So some people may just do that because they see there's a power, there's actually a negative 2 power outside, right? So they may thinking, that's, if I do it this way, it will be much more easy to do it, right? It will be much more easy to actually solve the problem, right? So if you're doing this, it is wrong, okay? Let's show you why it is wrong, okay? Maybe we just continue doing this steps, okay? So now, the wrong step, okay? Let me write it down, the wrong step. So some people may say, why you don't do this? Why you don't just multiply the negative 2 inside, right? Cause basically one thing is that there's no such property exist, right? So remember, so basically remember how the property always say it before. What we say before is that a to the power negative n, it's going to be equal to 1 over a to the power n. 1 over a to the power n. That's the property what they say it, right? So it's always going to be true, right? So over here, so you cannot do this, you just cannot do this because it is the wrong step. Because if you remember the property basically say a to the power negative n is equal to 1 over a to the power n. Okay, so this is the right step. Okay, this is the right thing. So right is a to the power negative n is equal to 1 over a to the power n. If you're doing this step, then everything goes wrong, right? You see, if you're doing the wrong step, x to the power negative 2 multiplied by negative 2 is actually 4, right? And then we go y 4 multiplied by negative 2. Oh, sorry. So we'll get y 4 multiplied by 4 multiplied by negative 2 is actually negative 8. Oh wait, maybe. Oh, maybe it is right. Yeah, maybe it is right. Okay, so let's rethink a little bit. Okay, x to the negative 2 multiplied by negative 2, y to the power 4 multiplied by negative 2, so it becomes negative 2 multiplied by negative 2, which is positive 4, right? And then what we have is y to the power 4 multiplied by negative 2 is negative is less than negative 8, right? So what we have over here is actually negative x to the power 4 multiply 1 over x to the power y to the power negative 8, right? So it just basically becomes x to the power 4 over y to the power 8, which is exactly the answer what we're seeking for, right? So actually this step is actually, I think it is right after we test it, because what you can see, okay, so I think I make a mistake over here. Okay, I think I make a mistake over here, because I think actually both way is okay when you actually do it. Because we can see over here that both answer is the same thing, right? So we cannot say it is the wrong step. It is not the wrong step, okay, it is the right step. Right step. And then this one is actually method 2. This one is actually method 2. If you want to, if you're doing this, it's actually much more faster. But as I showed you before, the way over here is also right, right? The way on the left is actually a little bit more confusing, but it's also right, right? Because you can see over here, you can actually able to do this. Okay, it is not the wrong step, it's actually the right step, and then that's why I call this. It's actually method 2, and it is right. It is right. Okay, it is right. It is wrong. So over here, it basically, cause you can see over here, well, what we got for method 1. So over here is method 1. Over here, what we got is x to the power 4 over y to the power 8, right? And the answer for method 2 is also x to the power 4 y to the power 8, So I think both both of the way is actually right. So if you guys doing method 2 is also good. Okay, it's also good. I think I made some mistake. Sorry. Okay, but right now, I mean, both of the methods is actually will get you the right answer. Okay, both of the methods will get you the right answer. All right. All right. Yeah, both of the methods will actually get you the right answer. Okay, so let's move into question 7. There's actually no man left. There's no man left. Okay, so we got 5 questions left. Yeah, we got 5 questions left. Okay, so let's do question 7. Can you keep my reply? Okay. So basically, as I said before, it's not actually subjected to actually, okay, so let's just keep it in this kind of form. Okay, so as you can see here in this question, we have to simplify a little bit, right? So we got a to the power -5, and then multiply a to the power 2, and then multiply -3, right? So as the previous step, as we show it, right? So we know we can actually write it down a to the power -6, right? So basically you are able to do this. Okay, it's the same thing. So a to the power -5 multiply a to the power 2 multiply by bracket to the power -3, so it becomes a to the power a multiplied by -3, so it becomes -6. Okay, so now what we have is simply a multiply a to the power -4 bracket to the power 3, so it just basically becomes a to the power -4 multiplied by 3. So -4 multiplied by 3 is -12. So right, so now we actually have to simplify a little bit more. So at the top we have a to the power -5 multiply a to the power -6. So it just basically becomes a to the power -5 minus 6, right? So it becomes -11, right? -11. And at the bottom, what you can see is a to the power 1 multiply a to the power -12. So it just basically becomes 1 minus -12. So it's -11, right? So right, okay. So you can see right now we can actually get those terms cancelled, and then after they cancel, it just become 1, right? So a to the power -11 over a to the power -11, both of them actually get cancelled, right? So those terms get cancelled, and then it just becomes 1, right? Because there's only one left. Right? Okay. So let's move into question 8. So question 8 is something about the scientific notation. Okay. The scientific. Scientific notation. So let me tell you some trick about how to actually write it down those five scientific notation. Okay, so remember the form, right? Remember the form is something like a multiplied 10 to the power n. So scientific notation is always in this kind of form, right? With a is actually bigger and equal to 0, and then less than or equal to 10, right? And then n is integer, right? So that's our definition for it, right? So remember, right? Scientific notation is always going to be a multiplied 10 to the power n in that kind of form, right? With a bigger and equal to 0 and less than or equal to 10, right? And the n is an integer, right? So let me tell you how to actually write some notation really easy. Okay, so let me actually write it down the answer for this question first. Okay, so let me write it down the answer for this question first, and then I will make you guys understand it. So as I said before, so let's go into the detail why I write it in this kind of way. Okay, so basically over here, as we know, scientific notation have to be a multiplied 10 to the n, right? 10 to the power n, and a have to be in 0 and 10, right? A have to be in 0 and 10. Have to be bigger and equal to 0, and then less than equal to 10. So right here we want to make it become 5, right? So you can see in this number we got 0.004051, right? So you want to actually make 5. You actually want to make 5 cause 5. We actually want to make 5.1. Okay, let me say a little bit more exactly. So for here, this number we want to make 5.1 as a, cause 5.1 is actually between 0 and 10, right? You guys get it, right? So so you may ask me why we put a as 5.1. One reason is 5.1 is actually in 0 and 10, right? So you may also ask me why 0.51. Why 0.51 can why we don't put 0.51, right? You may also say 0.51 is also in 0 and 10, right? It's also between 0 and 10, right? But instead of putting 0.51, it will be much more better to put in 5.1, right? It will be much more better to actually put in 5.1, right? So remember, you always want to put in the biggest number possible. Okay, you always want to put in the biggest number. So maybe over here you see you can maybe over here you see you struggle which number to put as a. You always put the bigger number. Okay, so here we got 0.51 as valid for a, right? And then also 5.1 also valid for a, right? So you always remember, you always have to put in the bigger number. Okay, so you have to put in the bigger number. Okay, you always have to put the bigger number, right? And I mean let's also talking about why we can't put 51 as the number, right? Why we can't put 51, because you can see 51 is actually not in 0 and 10, right? So you may ask me also why we can't put 51 as a, because 51 is not in, it doesn't meet the requirement. It's not in 0 and 10. So 5.1 is actually our biggest number, so you have to put 5.1. Okay, all right. Okay, so you guys get it, right? Okay, so now we are actually done with a, right? and then we got 5.1 multiply 10 to the power n, right? So you guys may ask me about, like, why the n over here is -5. Okay, so let me explain you really detailed. Okay, so you can see over here, right, we got a dot over here, so we got this as the first one, and then this as the second one, as the third one, and then this as the fourth one, and then this as the fifth one, right? So this is the detail. Okay, so you can see we can add, so you guys get it, right? I think this is quite detailed, okay? So you can also remember this by you can also, cause over here we got n as -5, right? So -5, we got n as -5, right? So this is quite reasonable, right? So 1 over here, 2 over here, 3 over here, 4 over here, 5 over here. So okay, so this is one of the methods to know what is n. Okay, this is one of the methods. Okay, so you basically passing, you are actually counting how many to 5. Okay, so basically, okay, I think you guys get it, right? So if you don't get it, then I'm also going to tell you another way to know how many, what is the number for n. Okay, and so let me change to a blue pen. Okay, so another method to know what is n is basically you count how many 0 before 5. Okay, so let's be really clear over here. Okay, let's be really clear over here, cause so basically so you see the number here is 5.1, right? So you want to stop at 5. Okay, that's one of the things you need to know it. So you can see over here is that we got the number as 5, right? We got the number as 5.1. So you actually want to stop at 5.1. Okay, you want to stop it. Okay, and starting from here, you can see we go through 1, and then we go through 2, and then we go through 3, and then we go through 4, and then we go through 5, right? And on that 5, we are actually exactly at 5.5. We are actually exactly at 5.1, right? So that's how you know you want to stop it. This just cannot continue. Okay, this just cannot continue. So maybe write it down one more time. Okay. Okay, so let me just clean it, and then maybe explain one more time. Okay. So basically want to stop at 5. Okay, because over here we got 5.1. So you want to stop exactly at 5.1. So we started from here. We go through 1. So this is 1, and then we go through 2. This is 2, and then we go through 3. So this is 3. So we go through 4. It becomes 4, and then we go through 5. So 5 we exactly stop at 5.1, right? We already stop it. So you know the number is going to be -5. Okay, it's going to be -5. Another way is just basically counting how many 0 over there, how many 0 before 5. Another way is just basically counting how many 0 is before 5. So you can see how many 0. So method 2. Okay, so maybe write it down. So method 2. Okay. So method 2 is just basically counting how many 0, how many 0 before, how many zeros before. Okay, so you can see over here how many 0 before 5. We got 4 0 before 5, right? So it's going to be 4 plus 1, which is 5. So you can see here the number here n is actually negative 5, right? So basically that is the major way. Okay, we are actually not going to counting the starting zero. We are not going to counting the starting zero. Okay, we're not going to count the starting zero. We only count how many zero after the digit. Okay, we are not counting this zero, okay, at the beginning. We only counted the zero after the digit. So this is the digit, right? So this is the digit. So we only count the zero after the digit, and then before 5. Okay, so that's the major thing. That's the major way. It really depends what question will you have, cause it really depends what question will you have. I cannot conclude everything, cause okay. But as we doing more, as you guys doing more, you guys should be able to to doing both methods really well. Okay. But I think you guys don't understand what I am saying, right? So basically, let me repeat one more time. So for method 2, you are actually counting how many zeros before, okay? Because there's so many questions, maybe counting how many zeros before the number, okay? So let's be more specific. In this question, you can see we are actually counting how many zeros before 5, right? And then you actually see there's a 4 0, right? So it's 4 plus 1, okay? You always have to plus 1, okay? You always have to plus 1, okay? To get the right n, right? You get the right. You always have to, okay? You always have to, plus 1 for the right n, okay? All right. So basically, and then you are not gonna counting the zero. You only count the zero after the digit. Okay, you only count the zero after the digit, and then before the number. Okay, the digit is right here. Okay, the digit is right here. All right. So that's it for question 8. Okay, so that's it for question 8. Okay, so let's doing a little bit speed up. Okay, so now what we got is question 9. We got this, right? So I'm just going to show you guys how you actually doing scientific notation question. Okay, so I have to switch my pen to red. So what you can see over here is that you got a 4 and then you got a 2, right? So okay, let me show you the detail. Okay, so you put 4 and 2 in the bracket because everything in this calculation everything is multiplication, right? And then you put -3 and then multiply -5, right? So basically over here is 4 multiplied by 2, which is 8, and then you got multiply. So over here what we have is 10 to the -3 multiply 10 to the -5, so it's -3 minus 5, so it's -8, right? So you're actually done with this question. Okay, so we just leave the scientific notation. Okay, you don't have to write any zero over here, so you just leave in the form of the scientific notation. Okay. So for question 10 is almost the same thing, right? So question 10, I think is quite similar, right? So I think, so basically what we have over here is we have this, right? So we have 7 multiplied by 5, 7.5 divided 1.5, right? And then we got multiply 10 to the power -4, and then divided 10 to the power 2, right? So as I said before, so basically over here we have to do the calculation. So 7.5, so 7.5 divided 1.5 is what is equal to 5, right? So basically over here is that 7.5 divided 1.5 is actually equal to 5, right? So you write down 5. And for the other side, what we have is actually, so what we have for the right hand side is 10 to the power negative 4 minus 2, right? So it just becomes negative 6, right? So for the right hand side, what we have is 10 to the power negative 4, 10 to the power negative 4, and then minus 2, right? So basically it just become 10 to the power negative 4 minus negative 4 minus 2 is just negative 6, right? So now we actually solve the question, right? We actually solve the question, and we just leave it in the scientific notation, okay? Right. So now I think we are on our last question. So maybe pause the video for a second and try the question by yourself. Okay. So okay, let's do the question. So as I said before, you have to simplify a little bit, right? So we have to simplify a little bit over here. So okay, so let me maybe show you a little bit of detail. So we have 6 multiplied 3.2, right? And then we got multiply 10 to the power 12, multiply 10 to the power 8, right? And then at the denominator, what we have is 1.6. So we got those two, right? Those two, 1.6 multiplied by 3, and then multiply 10 to the power 7, multiply 10 to the power 2, right? So now we have to simplify a little bit more. Okay, so let's calculate it. Okay, so let's calculate. So it's gonna be 6 multiplied 3.2, which is 19.2, right? 19.2. And then we have multiply 10 to the power 12. 10 to the power 12 multiply 10 to the power 8. So it's gonna be 10 to the power 12 plus 8. So it's gonna be 10 to the power 20, right? And at the bottom, okay, so over here there's actually some better way for you to actually solving this question. So let me show it to you. Okay, so let me show you everything. Okay, so over here you actually don't need to calculate. You actually don't need to calculate those parts. Okay, so you actually don't need to calculate the thing in the bracket. I'm going to show you guys later why you don't have to calculate. But we still have to calculate the things over here. So the thing over on the right is 10 to the power 12 multiplied 10 to the power 8. So it becomes 10 to the power 12 plus 8. So it's 10 to the power 20, right? And on the bottom, what we have is 1.6 multiplied by 3, right? And then we still have to calculate the power, right? The thing on the right on the denominator. So what we have is 10 to the power 7. What we have is 10 to the power 7 multiply 10 to the power 2. So it's 7 plus 2 equal to 9, right? So now we actually are able to cancel some terms, right? So what we have is 1.6 get cancelled and 3.2 become 2, right? And then 3 get cancelled, 6 become 2, right? Makes sense, right? So 3 get cancelled, 6 become 2, right? And then 1.2 get cancelled. And then, 1.6 get cancelled, right? And then 3.2 become 2, right? Makes sense, right? Okay. So that's the reason. That's the reason why I say you actually don't need to cancel you don't actually have to multiply everything over here. Because if you multiply, things will getting a little bit complicated, right? But if you see it, so you're actually able to cancel those terms, which makes things easy for you to actually solve the problem, right? Okay, so let's move further to the next thing, to the next step. So over here, what we have is 4 4 multiply 10 to the power 12, 10 to the power 20, sorry, 10 to the power 20, and then over 10 to the power 9, right? Because right, so 4 multiply 10 to the power 20 over 10 to the power 9, right? So now you should be able to see it. It's actually 4 multiply 10 to the power 11, right? Now you should be able to see it, because since they cancel, right? So it's 4 is still going to be 4, and then multiply 10 to the power 20 over 10 to the power 9, so which is equal to 10 to the power 20 minus 9, right? 10, so and 20 minus 9 is 11, right? So that's the detail, okay, right? Okay, so okay, that is for this is the answer for question 11. Okay, yeah, there's nothing left. So this is the answer for question 11, and so I think that's everything for this selection, this topic, this section. Okay, so that's everything for this section, and so thank you guys watching this. So basically, we actually at the beginning we're talking about the negative exponent and the scientific notation, right? We're talking about some property of the negative exponent and the definition of the scientific notation, right? And after that we're basically talking about those questions to get you guys know how to actually do it, right? So we're basically talking about those questions. I mean, actually it's really detailed, right? It's actually really detailed, right? So we're basically talking about those questions, right? And okay, so thank you guys watching my video, right? So please leave a like, and then subscribe to my channel. Okay, subscribe to my channel, and then put the notify click the notify button. Okay, turn on the button, right? And then also leave a comments, right? So leave a comments below, maybe why you like the video, right? So why you like the video, right? And I will, if you still have some question which is confused you, then please leave a comment. Maybe something leave the question. Okay, I will try to apply your question in time. All right. Otherwise, thank you guys watching my video, and see you guys on the next video. Okay. Bye.